Collective podcast. You are with Ali. Hello, dear friends. It is a delight to be with you again as we near the end of this calendar year, as we step into the energy of solstice, as we allow ourselves just to take a breath and just pause. I don't know if you are feeling the same, but it's hard to escape the hustle and bustle of the moment, of things coming to a completion, of wrapping things up, of celebrations, and, all wonderful things that are happening, but squeezing the linear time. And I have been finding it really hard to find moments to take a breath and to pause. And that is something that when I could feel my physical body struggling over this last week, I was asking my higher self, how can I best support myself? How can I navigate this with a little more ease, with a little more peace? And my higher self, is always there for me, always with some sage advice. And really, it has been remembering to pause and breathe, which sounds so ironic when you think about it, because of course it makes sense. And I say that all the time to people. I'm always talking about using a breath and making sure that you're connecting to your body. And here I was getting caught up in the external myself and not creating that space. And I think that it was interesting too, because I could feel my mind wanting to make it mean that there was separation, that I wasn't actually as connected and in tune with my higher self as I thought I was. But it was there all along. I just hadn't quite created the space to hear the quietness of that voice, to feel the quietness there. And so I wanted to share that because I feel like this conversation has been coming up with a lot of people that I am connecting with, in just feeling not just the linear time and the end of the year, but even in the contraction of the energies. For me, from 12/12 till now solstice, which I'm recording this sort of in the cusp of solstice, I have felt almost like I've been in a compression chamber. It has been quite strange, and I have really found it difficult to let go and allow. And I guess, as I speak into that now, the again more irony there, because of my journey of really allowing myself to be more present, allowing myself to be in the flow, and allowing things to move through me. But I've really struggled with uh, this sensation of kind of feeling like a foot in two worlds. And I know that there is a lot of channels out there talking about shifting of timelines, merging of timelines, and all sorts of different things that are happening on a cosmic level. And I guess there is a feeling of that as well, of like not quite kind of being in a transition phase for me. But I have noticed a little lightening as the solstice has opened up, and being in the summer solstice energy, this feeling of really allowing more light in and allowing the beautiful solar energy to really assist with clearing, and not even a rebirth. That isn't the word that accurately describes what I feel, but almost a blossoming. Perhaps that's the word. Emergence. Emergence is a word that my higher self has been using a lot, and it's a deeper emergence. And I know that that's integration too, isn't it? We can really disallow ourselves the space for integration, and I'm no different. I need these reminders as well, and I need to remember that there is always an ebb and a flow, there is a cycle, and that it I think it's really interesting, isn't it? Because it's that feeling which the end of the year brings, I think, from a collective perspective, this feeling of running out of time. And that's what it's felt like. It's felt like I'm chasing my tail a little bit, and I'm like, but I've got all of these things to do. How am I going to do all these things? And so I found this pattern of overwhelm emerging again. And that has been something that has really been on my radar for the last few months, because through the journey of reactivity, I really felt that come through pockets of overwhelm and the pattern of overwhelm. And so it's kind of been this juggling act of recognizing that my mind and my ego, that shadow of overwhelm is poking me a little bit, but also the understanding that I know that that's there and that I want to allow it to be more easeful. I want to allow more peace in. As my higher self has been bringing through a lot of messages about really claiming my inner peace and really allowing myself to drop into that as a base frequency. And so that's something that comes to my mind in those moments all the time. How can I allow more peace in? Or how can this be more of a peaceful experience, whatever it might be? And, I haven't always nailed that, but that's okay, right? Because this is a whole learning process. And I am relearning how to show up when there is competing priorities and a number of things happening, and how to not allow that to overwhelm me. And I wanted to share that because I think that that kind of goes hand in hand with the energy of this end of the year. Because what I really feel from the collective energy, and the conversations that I'm having with people is that we all come to this space of, oh, we're running out of time. I have to get this done before Christmas or before the end of the year. And we've kind of put this marker on the 31st of December, and created, this idea that there are things that have to be done and have to be completed. And look, there might be, depending on the occupation that you have or the nature of the work that you do, there might be things that do need to be done there. But I think even just, I love the Christmas period and I love the energy and the magic of Christmas. I always feel the magic in the air. I think people are more open to that magic, aren't they? But then I also find myself slipping into, oh, I've got all these things I need to do. I've got to make food, and, I've got lists for this and for that to make sure I don't forget anything. And so all of a sudden it starts to feel like there's a lot happening, and we lose the presence, we lose the magic and the joy of the moment. And not saying that that is necessarily going to resonate or relate to all of you, but I feel like there, in some way, shape, or form, there is the feeling of the squeeze. And partly because we enter a reflective period too, don't we? Because the societal pressure to create a New Year's resolution, and that New Year's resolution must commence on the 1st of January, it creates this feeling of like, where have I been and what have I been doing? And I've been having this conversation with a lot of clients lately about being more aware too of all that has actually been created or achieved, or the shifts and the outcomes of change, of growth, or whatever that might be, because we do have a tendency, as well as a collective, to always look at what we haven't done or what we didn't do well or what is still left to go. And so I want to invite you into this energy of yes, reflection and contemplation, but in celebration of all that you have moved through, that you have achieved, or that you have, even your state of being you've shifted into. Because I 100% know you are not the same person you are now that you were at January 1 of 2023. And so I want you to celebrate that, because I think that that is something really powerful about assisting with the being in the present moment, of being with the energy of what is here and what is here now, and in celebrating yourself for that. And yes, we all have a to-do list. We all have much more, inner work that we can do. And, I say need, quote unquote, because I can feel the collective speaking of like, but I need to do this. And well, do you? I don't know. I mean, we'll leave that. We'll leave that as an open-ended question there. But I think that it's important to allow the experience and the journey to be your front of mind, to be your presence. And as part of that, it is celebrating the shifts and the um, growth that you have undergone. And that's one of my favorite things, is being able to share with somebody in a session where I have witnessed their growth, or where they're speaking about something, and I can identify for them that how they're approaching that and how they're feeling about that is very different to when they first started working with that energy or that pattern or whatever it is. And I think that it's so beautiful to mirror back and reflect back, what are some of those celebration moments? And I'm choosing my words very carefully here, because I don't want it to be about success or failure, or a good or bad, or a positive or a negative. Let's just celebrate those shifts, the expansion, the growth. And when you actually start to tune into that, you will be so surprised at how much has shifted and changed, because it's all the small incremental moments that have contributed to that over this last 12 months. So just imagine what is possible for you in the next 12 months. And so rather than beating yourself about what hasn't happened or hasn't been, achieved or done or whatever it is, and be in the energy of the magic, the wonder, the possibility, the limitlessness of what is available, the potential of what is available. And just notice how that shifts your state of being, your energy, your frequency. Because I have just noticed that for myself in the last 24 hours, as I let myself enter the reflection and contemplation from a place of celebration of, where I was and where I am now, and all of the moments where that felt challenging at the time, but also were empowering when I stepped through, where there was fear, doubt, uncertainty, and that was transformed into more love, more presence, more peace, integration and embodiment. And I could sit there and say, oh, wow, that's actually pretty cool. That's really impressive. So, yeah, I've still got all of these things, and there are things that I feel like my mind wants me to do, but how about I just sit in this for a bit? How about I enjoy this for a bit? How about I celebrate? I celebrate this. And suddenly that put into perspective all of the things that I was chasing my tail on, and just being like, what if I could just allow that to be in a allow that to be a state of trust, allow myself to trust that it will all come together, that all is well, that if I could let go of the pressure, because look at what's happened in the past, look at how much that I've shifted and transformed. And, you know, there's no rush to do any of that. And there has been no rush to do any of that. And that the world isn't ending on the 31st of December. I will wake up on the 1st of January, and I will have the opportunity to keep putting one foot in front of the other. And it was interesting because another piece of guidance that came through from my higher self when I was asking about how to navigate these periods when it felt overwhelming, when I was juggling so many tasks, and when I felt my nervous system really struggling to hold me together. And my higher self said, it's just taking that one step at a time, the baby steps. And we've spoken a lot about this over the last half of the year, about just taking a small step and just taking one step. And that's all that it is, isn't it? It's taking one step at a time. It's just being with the experience and the journey. And yeah, some days that is sunshine, rainbows, butterflies, and other days that is heavier. That is heavier and more challenging, and requires us to dig a little deeper within. I have been really feeling so much heart activation, opening, awakening, expansion, you name it. And I really know that this is a lot of where 2024 is going for us to really dive into the inner work, to really meet ourselves even more deeply. And I'm talking like the the heart chakra really opening up through the chest. And, in my high heart there for a couple of weeks, it was really actually quite uncomfortable physically. The stretching and the expanding and the really, really opening up was something that I hadn't felt since really I started doing my own, or started coming into this awareness of heart opening in 2020. And, when they talk about the cracking open, in some ways it does feel a little like that, but in an energetic sense. But there is this opportunity, isn't there, to allow the cracking open to occur, to hold ourselves in that uncomfortableness, to allow more of the light out, the more of the light in, to embody more of our higher consciousness. And I feel like there are pieces of this that are really coming through for me for the 2024 energy, but I want to do that in a separate episode and really touch on all of that together. But I really feel called to end this episode with just a little transmission, a little bit of energetic support for our hearts and for our bodies as we are navigating this end of the year, as we are coming into the completion and opening into the new. Depending on whether you're also receiving the summer or the winter solstice, for me, the energy of it still feels the same. And that is coming through about reconciling through our hearts. So, really allowing ourselves to observe the rest, to go within and to be in the space of the pause, to be with our hearts more deeply, and to bring whatever it is that is ailing us. Even just earlier today, I was struggling with something and I said to my higher self, how can I sit with this? How can I receive this? How can I transform this? And my higher self just said, reconcile through the heart. So I just took some breaths. I opened my heart a little bit more, and I just allowed it to actually move through, to flow through, to shift and transform through my open heart. And while there was not necessarily a physical resolution, a physical outcome, the energy shifted within me. And so I was able to come back to a more regulated nervous system, a softer state in my body. And I was able to actually take some deep breaths, really like full deep breaths. And I could notice that there was less resistance in my body, in my energy. So that alone just allowed me then to move through my day, through the experiences of life with that peace and that ease and that flow. And that's where the work is, and that's where the growth is, the expansion is. It's in the moments when it is most challenging to the mind or to the body, when the ego is really firing at us to, you know, go the other way, to avoid, to distract, to retreat, or to get defensive, to run, whatever it might be. But it really is about holding yourself in the uncomfortableness of all of that, and shake your body, right? Shake your body. I have noticed that happening quite a bit. When I'm feeling the uncomfortableness of it, and I can feel my body responding now as I share that. I feel it, I hold it, I breathe it through, and then I just shake my body and just release it and release it. And sometimes I got to shake for a while, stamp my feet. But I just feel like that's such a great way as well as just like releasing. And they say, if you look at a dog, like when a dog barks or gets, reacts to something, and then that you'll notice that the dog will shake itself afterwards. And it's like shaking off that energy. It's shaking off that reactivity and allowing some of that reset to occur. And so it's such a powerful practice and quite simple. And sometimes I even just sort of shake through my arms and my hands. It's just like, okay, yep, I've got it. Thank you. I'm letting it go. But I would like to just pause for a moment here and just invite you to take a deep breath in, to connect to your heart as you breathe in and exhale out through your mouth. And continue a couple of rounds of deep inhales in through the nose, breathing from the belly to the heart, exhaling out through the mouth and opening the heart. Softly with your heart, gently with your heart, as I feel that tension, as I feel that resistance. But know that you are safe to allow the heart to open. Connect to the image of a flower that is opening petal by petal, allowing it to softly open, bringing the center of the flower or the center of the light within your heart forward. And breathing into this light now. And as you breathe out, you're allowing the life force that you're carrying on your breath to simply expand the heart, to soften, to soothe. And you may have something that is on your heart, on your mind, being held by your body. And I would invite you to connect to something that is a little challenging or that is bothering you right now. And letting that come forward to rise with the breath as you breathe it into your heart, exhaling it into the light of your heart now. Noro yamate kishan doroya, nero yamuyante kishan dera. Softly, softly. Toko la motakisha motoko oyana. Lawi amoteki eroko yana. Gently, gently. Ngote kero yamataki isha motokura. Allowing the light of your heart to gently reconcile, gently transform. No lo yamatiki isha matakiero wala motayana. To love, to light. Rokema etoko yanda teko la roko yana. Opening you to receive this as peace. Otokiara kuya no yamuya grace. Anoya tokoya no kuya muya teke. Ease. Ola mota kiendaria tokoyana. Trust. Gota moyando rato. Ato. Simply breathing and surrendering into the light within your heart. Feeling soft waves now emanating out from the center of the light, out through the chest, front and back. Gota quiero emotique la oya motakie para. Allowing yourself to come home to your heart. Otakia o yamoya eto la yamotakienda. As we receive the gentle energies and embrace of Mother Mary, the Pleiadian star mothers, offering an energetic support, inviting you to open a little bit more as they hold you, your heart, your body, in love. As Mother Mary places a blue flower in the center of your heart, within that light, a flower of peace, planting this within your heart for you to access at any time. Amplifying the peace that is within your heart already. As the Pleiadian star mothers encircle you, offering a blessing, supporting the body and the nervous system, to hold and embody the frequency of peace, creating a more stable energetic frequency, so you can surrender, you can lean into this frequency of peace, of love and grace. And taking a breath in now and feeling the difference in the heart space, the chest, front and back, and feeling maybe the subtleties of that energy expanded in the heart. Almost a little more stability in the ability to expand, to open. And for some, there feels like a little heart awakening has just occurred. So allowing it to simply be what it is for you. And allowing yourself to open your eyes if they were closed and to feel your body, wriggle your fingers, your toes, maybe squeezing your legs and your arms, giving yourself a bit of a hug, and taking a breath here and just feeling with presence and conscious awareness, and feeling the open heart, the expanded heart, the light that is radiating from within, and simply being with this feeling and allowing yourself to come back to this if you need a reminder, if you need to align back into the openness here. I feel this sense of elongation through the body, and the shoulders are back, as if you're able to hold yourself more fully, more openly and confidently. And so as you navigate the coming days and weeks and months, remembering this little practice of just opening the heart, of coming into presence with your heart, allowing anything that is challenging you to be received in the light of your heart, and to call in perhaps the presence of Mother Mary or these star mothers, or whoever you feel called to, your guides, your highest self, of course, to support you. All you need to do is ask. They are so willing to help and to assist us in our remembering. Thank you so much, my dear friends, for joining me for another episode. Enjoy the solstice wherever you are in the world. The light, the love, the divinity within me honors the light, the love, the divinity within you. Namaste.